So here we are at Mecca, Lynchburg, Tennessee, the home of Jack Daniels. This uh, this was the main reason I sort of moved to Tennessee. Really, there was a job, and they said they had a couple of different locations, and one of them was Tennessee. Just great history, of Jack Daniels with Frank Sinatra, and just it's one of those brands that just really represents America to the world. It
America, fuck yeah! So lick my blood and suck on my bones, America, fuck yeah! What you gonna do when we come for you now? It's the dream that we all share. It's the hope for tomorrow. Fuck yeah!
it's the sort of whiskey I grew up on, Jack Daniels and Coke, and I'm just so glad that nowadays they're just making some great stuff. There's the man himself, all 4'3" of him. Yeah, he was not a big man. They say that even those statues are more than life size because he was very short. Now, the story of how Jack Daniels died is relatively interesting. He would always come into work late. He was not an early riser, and one day he came into work early before his secretaries and everything got there, and he needed to open the safe. Well, he got really angry because he was a short man and had a short temper, so he ended up kicking the safe. That broke his toe, which led to gangrene, and many years later, that killed him. So the moral of the story is, don't go to work early. If you do one of the tours at Jack Daniels, which I totally recommend, and I've done multiple times now, you can actually see his office, and you can see the safe that killed Jack Daniels. In the gift shop here, as you walk in, you can go off to the left and book a tour, or you can just walk through sort of the stuff they have lying around, really historic stuff. Jack Daniels, once it just has such a long history. It was shut down during Prohibition. So during Prohibition, it could not sell bourbon or whiskey, Tennessee whiskey. We'll get onto that later. So they talk about that. They talk about what they did to survive Prohibition and what they did after. Another fact is Lynchburg to this day is still a dry county, so technically you cannot buy alcohol anywhere in Lynchburg. Now, of course, Jack Daniels is Lynchburg, so they have changed the rules to allow alcohol sales in their gift shop. And I don't know how some of the stores that we'll later on see in the town of Lynchburg get away with selling bottles of alcohol, but I think it's more because you're buying a collectible. But hey, you'll see that later on. There's some pretty cool stores in the town of Lynchburg. But here we're going through all the bottles, going way back to 1800s, and it's cool to see how everything's changed. So even though Jack Daniels brands itself as Tennessee whiskey, it is a bourbon. They may not say it's bourbon, but it's really marketing. And you can see that because if you look at a lot of old Heaven Hill stuff, it is on their label charcoal mellowed. So the charcoal mellowing is not an additive process, and it has been classed and considered a bourbon. And in some places, Jack Daniels will be branded as a bourbon. It's really whatever works best for their marketing. And they want to be Tennessee whiskey, and they do the Lincoln County process, which means they drop all their new make through charcoal, and that makes a Tennessee whiskey. So this is over in the gift shop. They don't really have any of their really good stuff here. This is an average gift shop. They got their single barrel proofs, and their rye, which I picked up. I did a hunt through here looking for the highest proof one I could find, but and they have Sinatra's on and off. Sometimes they might drop a Jack Daniels 10 or a 12. They did do their Coy Hills here at one point, but I don't think they really want a line. So yeah, so we'll see what they do in the future. They had the Jack Daniels McLaren, which is just old number 7 in a fancy box, and the Sinatra, which is it's a fine whiskey, and it's a really nice gift in a really nice box, but it's pretty expensive. There's all their standard offerings that they have that you can get almost anywhere, but they used to have an engraver here. You could get your bottle laser engraved, and those little bottles are the Tennessee Tasters. So something the guy told me is the next Tennessee Taster is actually going to be a double-barreled rye. So that is going to be delicious.
Wow.
Secret knowledge heard here first. House bourbon. Whoa, calm down. Jeez. So I was able to dig through all the proofs. I found the highest one at 134.9. Not that the high proof particularly means it's best, but it would always be good to get a hazmat version. Let's go see what else there is to do at Lynchburg. A quick intermission to do a review on this bottle that you just saw me get at Jack Daniels. This is Jack Daniels single barrel proof rye, coming in at a 134 point something. I can't see it. I cannot see this gold on the screen. I'm not colorblind. I'm a little bit blind, obviously, but I'm not colorblind. But just this gold on the screen is so hard to see. But I mentioned it in the video 1 second ago, so whatever. Quite high proof. It was the highest proof I could find there. They probably had about 5 or 6 different proofed stuff, so let's try it out. It's really dark. Like we matched it up against the single barrel proof bourbons, and their rye is substantially darker. Yeah, I should have told you what I smelled first. Like banana. There's definitely a banana, super caramel. There's a bit of heat on there for the proof, but man, this is a good rye. If you can get this rye locally, this should be something that you have on your shelf, because it's fantastic. I always have one and a backup. I'm always looking for a hazmat, but this is fantastic. Even at the lower proofs. By low, it's still high. Oh, that's so good. Anyway, back to the video. So this is the town of Lynchburg. It's probably like a 2 or 3 minute walk from Jack Daniels gift shop. Go across a bridge and you pop out here. It's a very atypical Tennessee small town. They have a square like roundabout with a church or a government building in the middle. This place is really cool. This is where I got my table, my barrel table, but this stuff is really reasonable. Like, $150 for a barrel head. Okay, whatever, that might not be. But those barrels, they're like $180. And I don't know, that seems pretty good to me. That little bar there is like $2,400, which is a little bit more expensive, but you'll see another one, or $22.44. You'll see the other one, the bigger one that I have had my eye on for a long time. That's about $2,600, but just really nice. Like that thing, $2,600 for that, I could do with that. House Bourbon needs to buy that. Once somebody can work out how House Bourbon can make any money, the next thing is buy that, because that's cool. Yeah, so these guys are sort of the first on the left as you come into town, but they sell some really good stuff. You should really go visit them. It's really quite reasonable for the work and the time that goes into this stuff, I think. And they could even do sort of custom finishes. They have different, colors and stuff, so whatever you want. What they don't have is Coy Hill. Why is Jack Daniels just brand up Fire, their cinnamon crap, honey, Jack Daniels honey, and Old Number 7? Like, literally their 3 worst products, and that's what all their merchandise is. Like, nobody even, I'm like, well, where's your Coy Hill stuff? If they sold a Coy Hill shirt or a Coy Hill barrel, sign me and pretty much everyone I know up. Because if anyone's looked at the secondary market right now, Coy Hill is going through the roof. They call it Bitcoy. For a bottle of high proof Coy Hill right now, you're looking well over $1,000 for a bottle that was $70 at, MSRP. So this is some cool stuff up in the as you go up the stairs in this the gift shop. It turns from the woodworking place to a Jack Daniel's gift shop, all sort of one, and very much if not owned by Jack Daniel's, controlled by Jack Daniel's. So it's all the whole town is owned by Jack Daniel's, but I think this is pretty much an extension of their gift shop, or is their gift shop. And they do have some really good shirts. Like I say, I love Jack Daniel's. I'm not a big fan of old number 7. I don't really want an old number 7 bar mat. So I did find a single barrel. It just says random Jack Daniel's single barrel. But, with all their great special releases they're doing, I really don't understand. But hey, who the fuck am I? I'm trying to tell Jack Daniel's how to make money. Like, Jack Daniel's makes more money than anything. They literally fund Old Forester. So who cares? Who cares what I have to say? So there's a Harley Davidson in town there. That's pretty cool. It doesn't sell really bikes or anything, but just shirts. And they're not overly, Jack Daniel's orientated. But it's a really cool little town. They have all these candy stores and ice cream shops. And you can get food here. There's a good barbecue place that's sort of down the hill a little bit. Totally recommend that. And they have some really hot, spicy barbecue sauce. And lots of little gift shops. There was the Jack Shack that I wanted to go visit. They sell a lot of bottles. I see them on Facebook, but he was closed today, so I wasn't able to go see him. But it is really an authentic Tennessee town. I remember there were these two old boys sitting on a park bench, and I could not understand them. They're like,
Or after referred to as dang old aforementioned antiquities pursuant to the public domain title 970 of State Resource Code. But I tell you what, man, they're tight. Boomhauer, I didn't understand a word you just said. Damn legalese.
And they weren't putting it on. That's just how they talk. So there's a little craft distillery they have here in Lynchburg, which it must be a little bit difficult, when you're in Lynchburg, but good on them for giving it a go. I didn't try any of their stuff. They had a lot of flavored things, and I don't really know if I'd get their whiskey, but some of their flavored stuff is pretty good. Like, look at their little stills over there. I've actually seen smaller stills than 13th Colony, and that's it right there. So that distillery was connected to this winery, so you can get a whole bunch of Tennessee wines if you haven't tried them. They're normally very sweet, as smooth as Tennessee whiskey, and sweet as Tennessee wine. There's Jack Daniel's himself, probably way bigger than he actually was. Lots of these little gift shops, they sell all Jack Daniel's everything, right? There's Jack Daniel's barbecue sauce and eat more. Jack Daniel's. Pretty much if there's anything that's anything, somebody has branded it Jack Daniel's. And this stuff is like official and maybe not so official. But they're in Lynchburg, so I'm sure if it gets too unofficial, they get told off. This place was interesting. I don't know how they're able to sell alcohol, but they are. And they have some very interesting stuff, right? They have all those master distiller series. And then they have all this. They have Pappy's. They have Lot B. They have, the prices were borderline ridiculous. I did ask about that Jack Daniel's Master Distiller because I saw that in Japan. If you watch my Japanese video, link somewhere. And so I asked her about that. She wasn't really a whole bunch of knowledge. But you can get all sorts of cool stuff here. You're just going to have to pay for it, right? So here she's basically telling me that was an older release of something from Jack Daniel's, and you could tell by how rounded the bottle was. I believe the one in Japan I saw was basically the same as that. So maybe it was before they did the box series of the Jack Daniel's Master Distiller series. So anyway, lots of minis, lots of really crazy stuff. Like she has a incredible collection here, and obviously has bought some other bottles maybe on secondary and sells them as like vintage. I don't know how it works. I think in Kentucky you can do some vintage liquor sales, but I know Tennessee's pretty strict, and maybe this is one of those loopholes where you're buying the bottle and the liquor just comes with it. But you know, you saw some Jack Daniel's 10 and 12 there, which is not particularly old, and you know. But anyway, anything you want Jack Daniel's, this place you can find it. You just got to pay for it. I was very tempted on I think it's the 2020 Barrel Proof Rye special release. They seem to have their special releases here priced a little bit out of whack. So that green one, the second from the left, that's the one I was looking at. That was $3.50. That's about secondary price. You know, there's a Jack Daniel's Sinatra. I didn't even want to know how much that was. Just not in my wheelhouse. But I have that 2020 there, but I do need one to drink. The only reason I haven't really got it is because it is similar to the Jack Daniel's Rye that I just did a review on like 30 seconds ago. So, but here's all the tater stuff. Like, I don't know where you come Jack Daniel's, and all the stuff was secondary prices or secondary plus, so I wasn't very interested. But yeah, I did think long and hard about the special release. You know, there's some barbecue places, some Dixie Lee Outfitters, and candy stores. It's a really cool town. I totally recommend, if you're in the area, stop by Lynchburg. It's so cool to see the town where every Jack Daniel's you've ever tried is made. So, and that's it for Jack Daniel's in Lynchburg. So hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.